what you mean to the people around you. You don't know how many times a smile got somebody through. You keep on giving your heart even when they doubt you. And one day you'll see yourself the way that I do. You don't know how strong you've been this whole time. You don't know how bright you shine when you don't even try. Life gets heavy, but somehow you still rise. Just keep being yourself, that's your greatest light. You've been through things that you don't really speak on. Still wake up every day and keep your feet strong. Always putting everybody else's needs first, even when your own heart was the one getting hurt. You don't know how much you mean to the people around you. You don't know how many times your smile got somebody through. You keep on giving your heart even when they doubt you. And one day you'll see yourself.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Uncomfortable In-House Conversations with HB. Apologies. How y'all doing today? Give me a second. I don't know if the thing kind of had to wait a second to see some viewers before I really get into what I'm about to say. I appreciate the people that I reached out to hit me back in a timely manner. Just for support and to hear what I want to discuss. This is kind of, it was like an, I'm not gonna say an emergency, but it really is like a last minute, because usually I don't start my podcast on so early of the week. But again, this is one of the things that I think is a long time coming, especially for me. Hold on one second. This is the reason why I'm trying to wait for us. And again, I've been a few minutes late, even though I call myself gotten everything together. Well, of course I did, which I appreciate her doing, getting everything together for me. So this ain't this time of usual. This is me. This is my show. I got it. Let me do me. This is one of the times where I guess this in my head for the longest. I was purposeful and intentional about doing this. So I think like the anxiety started creeping in, and I wanted to at one point I wanted to hold on. It's saying I'm not live. Question. Hold on, give me a second. Hello, welcome to Uncomfortable In-House Conversations with HB. I don't know. One of my friends said that it wasn't showing that it was going live. If any of y'all see that it's live now, can you do me a favor? Can you hit the like button or wave to me so I know? I don't know if it's my internet or before I start. Okay, I can see one person. Um, Again, I'm sorry. I guess I was having some kind of internet issues. My apologies. Again, well, you didn't hear me out. This is kind of like, well, it's not last minute, but I usually don't do my shows um, in which so early in the week. And I kind of wanted to explain the process of this. Um, it wasn't last minute for me, but I know it was kind of last minute for Cuesta because usually, we do a lot of planning and things of that nature prior to my shows. Um, Again, with guests and things of that nature. Um, this show here is yeah, this show is gonna be intense. So I didn't tell anybody what it was gonna be about. I didn't even tell her what it was gonna be about. Um, but a lot of times, full well, I already know. I know what's going to be going on in the show or what I'm going to do. So it was like my way of, not being, and I hope she understand, not my way of just like, I didn't want to talk or discuss it. It was just, I wanted to go ahead and go through with it. So, because I was already second guessing myself and coming in and going on, hey Sheila, how you doing? Thank you for attending, sweetie. Appreciate you, love you. So without further ado, I'm about to start and I'm going to explain what this show is about, um, how it got here, and yeah, I hope you kind of understand. But before I actually start, hey, how you doing, Toy? How you doing, sis? Before I start, because I'm so intentional with this, and I'm like my anxiety is going up. Um, I'm not a pastor. Um, I just have a strong belief in God. Just growing up. So I'm going to start off with myself. I'm going to be praying. Um, and if you're good, cool. If not, but this is just for me. I want to start off with good intention. Heavenly Father, I come to you with the best intentions. I ask that you cover me and my followers and uh, just help me to be able to send out my this message with the best intentions and for people to have a better understanding about men, our 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 mental health, and how that affects us in whole other ways. Also, too, to be able to put in my spirit to be able to be humbly be able to explain myself in whichever way to people understand where I'm coming from. And all these things are begging next in Jesus' name, amen. Okay, I got that out of the way. No particular order. So, again, my show, Uncomfortable In-House Conversations. It is basically about what it is. I started this show some years ago, um, dealing with some personal traumas. I needed an outlet, and I found this way of starting off to do it, and it has helped me. It has helped me immensely. One of the rules I came into about doing that is I wanted to make sure that I wanted to be different. I wanted to be different in whichever way that, again, I'm not talking bad about no other podcast or anything, but I just want to talk about. We live in a day that we talk about BS all day, and I can do that every day, all day. I just want for one time to be able to talk about something that counts. Even if everybody don't get it, I have talked about different subjects, different material, um, hard, uh, fun, light. I try to, mix it up. Um, Came into a season in which I became stuck. Um, hey, thanks, Tyrone. I came stuck into a situation in my spirit, in my mind, my mental, where um, I put on pause for a moment. Um, and it wasn't due to any technical issues or any issues that I thought I would be having, especially trying to get uh, you know people to come out or just topics, because we live in today's society where it's stuff going on all the time. But I always wanted to do it because my heart was in it. And it started not becoming that, and that started bothering. Um, Also, along with that, besides it started bothering me, um, I also decided to um, just start to try to reevaluate stuff. Because again, one of my things I keep telling people, you ask guests to come on here, and you want them to talk about their traumas, their deepest, darkest secret, and trust that you be able to ask the questions and not have them offended or insult them. Want them to feel like they're talking to you like it's us. Um, and I can't do that if I have my own things. You understand what I'm saying? Some people can do it, cool. Um, Me, not so much. Um, I'm lately I have been daunted with some of my own daily truths about myself that I had to come to terms. And how can I go to navigate through this? Um, One of the things I am doing, Questa, I agree, is I need to start going back to therapy, um, because as much as I understand myself, sometimes you can't see the trees from the forest when you in it. I do a great job of talking to people, my friends, family, and talking to them, and they ask me for advice, and I'm giving them real advice. And again, sometimes I don't even think it's me. I'm gonna say a lot of times it's God, because a lot of stuff I don't even be thinking about, but it's honest and transparent as I can be. So that's what happens. So I had to kind of do that with myself last night, this morning. Now I'm gonna take y'all on a ride. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoy this. What I'm doing, I am going to show you my process in my mind, how I function, and generally it's not the same process, but I want people, or a lot of women, to understand I'm being the guinea pig. How we as men dealing, absolutely. I read that scripture all the time, especially when I feel like I have attachments and things like that. Tyrone, trust me, I got it. But this is a process that I have in my mind, and it's just I just think men, we deal with it, and I think it's the same when people be like, after a while, a man stops talking. Um, and it's not about resentment. We truly come in this world not taught, but understand through experience that I truly believe it's not intentional, that our feelings don't matter. Um, as long as we work, do what you need to do, however your household is formed and fiction and fashion, and do what you need to do, you're a good man. Um, it doesn't matter about your feelings or your mental health or anything of that nature. Um, I think I'm really doing this too because as I was going through my process all last night and this morning, because I had surgery on my knee, so I had nothing but time. A lot of things that I'm thinking back, I feel sad. Um, because again, I grew up with both my parents, and I can just imagine a lot of times my father had to my uncles, my grandfather. Um, and it's okay. I do understand it's okay because I am wise enough to understand that was a certain time. And everybody time ain't gonna be it's like ours. But things that I tell my son is I put in the work so you can be better than me. My dad did the same thing. I we need to reconnect those things. So I'm going to start off explaining to you how I started and my process of going through this. Side note, this is my process in my head. Please don't get offended by my verbiage or my tone. This is me personally talking to myself. I'm going to use the word. My wife said something to me and it hurt. Um, because I love saying this to people. You heard me say this to people. You need to, sometimes you need to talk and you need to look in the mirror yourself. Um, even though I am the mirror, I'm not talking to you though. Yeah. So conversation started um small. Um, what's going on with you? You matter of fact, not even that. Let's be honest with you. There was a picture I got sent this morning, and I felt it was shade. But right now, you think everything's shade. I ain't really talking to you though. um, it was a picture, and I had to kind of look at it twice because I was like, "B, that ain't me." Um, I don't know what this is, but I remember taking that picture, but that ain't me. Um, but it you know, I know I'm losing weight. Thank you, sis. That's why I asked you to come. Uh, I know I'm losing weight, and I know we go through things, and we don't look as how we used to, but I look pretty damn good, and I don't think she said you didn't look good, but when people asking what's going on with you, she asked me what's going on. She said, your family members asked you like what's going on with you. Are you okay? You was out. You didn't look like yourself. You kind of looking, you was looking in the picture like 5 heartbeatish, like the when he had the thing like and no, I I feel away. I think she was again, I think she's trying to manipulate the situation a little bit because she don't want to listen to it. Hmm. says the person sometimes you don't be want to listen. You want to have all the sense, but I ain't really talking to you though. Okay. Um, Listen, truth of the matter is you talking about you, she's telling you that you know you need to find your passion again. You need like what's going on with you. It's pissing me off because she don't know what the fuck going on with me. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I don't understand in Spanish, English, whatever. I feel alone. Can you really? I mean, you keep telling her that, but do you really think how that makes her feel? I ain't really talking to you though. I'm just saying though. She keeps saying like you keep saying you alone, you alone, you alone, but she right there with me. This so annoying me because you done had this conversation with her and now you're talking to yourself. Um, I know she's there, but when I say that I'm alone, meaning I literally have no one. I explained this already. When at the end of the day, if she's having a bad day or whatever, whoop de whoop, she can take her ass over there to her mama house. She go talk to her sisters. She got her cousin in. Damn, you said that with a lot of uh you said that with a lot of like you mad? I ain't talking to you, dog. No, I'm not mad, but at what point I keep I keep explaining the same thing over and over again, but the bitch ain't listening. Her or you? She's not coming to me with whatever. Right now, I listen. I already went. You don't understand when I say I have no one. I'm not saying that. Hey, I don't have family friend. I need people to understand that I come from a space where I grew up, mother, father, grandmother, grandfathers, host of cousins. Um, my house used to be the spot. Um, Everybody used to come to my house. Um, had the pool party all the time. Yeah, I really I can honestly say I had a great childhood. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Let's talk about it. Ain't nothing to talk about. I ain't got none of that shit no more, dog. The fuck is you like? All right, settle down. Whose fault is that? It ain't nobody's fault. Okay, but your tone is giving me you trying to blame somebody. See, now I feel like you gaslighting me, and I ain't even talking to you. Hey, bruh, it's been me and you, HB and Harrell. Like, you love me with the good times, and then you know what goes along with good times, also bad times. We all one and the same. Nah, nigga, I control all of this. Yeah, you think maybe that might be a problem a little bit? Man, can you just let me state my thoughts? And I've been praying. You know what? You're right. You've been praying. Let me ask you a question. One of the things that, again, I ain't trying to get no smoke, bro. But one of the things you've been talking, you've been trying to, you keep saying you want to, do things to get closer to God and all this stuff. Y'all agreed to have Bible study. Like, nigga, what's up with that? You right there. You don't see. I continuously say to her, "Hey, on this day I want to have Bible study. On that day I want to say." She ain't really don't seem like she ain't really like. Again, I keep saying that the stuff that she want to do, she can do this like this. But but the issue is she don't understand this is supposed to be for us. Yeah, dog, but you the leader. Leader. You know what? Better yet, I want to take a break for you because I'm tired of talking to you. Uh, one of the things I do, y'all, um, you guys would never know. Growing up, what what really helped me go through a lot of my own personal things. I didn't have any issues, but again, was music. Um, if you didn't know me, you would like personally, I'm goofy. Um, you know, a lot of things people say don't know that part of me. And it's not I'm trying to hide or anything like that. I always say I got to a point where I want to be around people that I don't have to explain to myself. Explain myself for what I say, what I do. But why you feel like that? Why you can't just be you? You HB, remember, you really don't give a fuck. Yeah, but again, the people that you care about, you do at least want them to get you. So you do care. I'm not talking to you. Yeah, so while I'm, in between, I I literally today I was listening to two songs. Um and I explain, but I'm gonna start off and give you this one clip and you're gonna follow me down. I'm gonna continuously talk. So I'm gonna start with the first clip. What made me start talking about this?
Everybody ain't against you. Every little bit of correction ain't hate. Sometimes folks tell you the truth because they love you. If everybody got the same complaint about you, maybe it's time to listen.
I hear you.
Something One thing that a lot of times I preach, it's always the small things. And just something as small as that, again, I'm out, one of the things I push myself. No, I want to reword that. I like that, pimping. I'm not talking to you. Um, I want to reword that. I try to push people to be accountable and to own their ish. And I thought maybe I did that. Thank you, Toy. I got it, but I'm gonna explain why. Um, but again, it's going back to uh me going. I'm trying to go down because even though I'm gonna go get this therapist, I really need to know how did all this start? Like what's really going on with myself? And no, I don't. I know I'm not gonna have the answer, but I want to at least understand. Um, this is this here for the first time. This is scary because me really understanding because this is what really happens to me, which is the next clip.
Say yes.
Yeah, that's like, dang. But it annoys me. Um, I'm gonna tell you why it annoys me. Not because I'm a man or I shouldn't be getting all emotional. It's because, and part of me understanding why I go back to when I said my dad probably went through a lot of things. Now that I know, his walk, things coming full circle, and how he grew up and things he particularly went through, and my grandfathers and that kind of stuff. I'm learning that you don't really you don't really know someone. We live in a world where we're quick to judge people, but we don't know the walk they had to take to get to the person that they are. And that's something that's really deep for me. Um, yeah, hey Etta. Um, I me and you talk, and that's kind of I reached out to James because I really want him to see this, because again, not getting too much into it. This is one of my really good friends, and her daughter's father. Uh, hey, Miss Flood. Her daughter's father, having things, and uh, when I was talking to him, I told him I wasn't trying to pick a side, but I truly understand where he's coming from. And I wanted him to come on the show. I want him to see, because when I say I truly understand, I truly understand. But getting back on topic, um, me wanting to just be able just to push through and get to a point that I want to be heard. I want to be heard, because we as Black men, we, even now dealing with this right now, it's it's hard because you don't want to feel, because you don't feel sorry for yourself. But people do need to understand the emotional and mental fortitude that every day we get up with. And I'm not dismissing or putting down any women's feelings or thought, but right now I just want a space to be able to talk about what emotionally, mentally goes on with us as men. Um, Real quick, thank you, Questa. Next clip.
Nobody cares about a man's mental health until it turns into anger, then everybody sees him as the bad person. Let me tell you why a lot of men don't talk. Because most men learn early that nobody really wants to hear it. You lose money, nobody cares. Your girl leaves, figure it out. You stressed, figure it out. You got family depending on you, bills piling up, business not moving how you want, and you still gotta wake up and perform like everything's perfect. Nobody's pulling up asking if you're good. Nobody's checking to see what's been on your mind. As long as you're producing, providing, and showing up, everybody's happy. Then one day, the pressure starts leaking out. Now you're frustrated. Now you're irritated. Now you're short with people, and suddenly everybody becomes a mental health expert. He's angry. He's toxic. Something must be wrong with him. Yeah, something probably is wrong. But nobody cared when he was carrying it quietly. And every man watching this knows exactly what I'm talking about, because we've all had moments where we were helping everybody else while nobody knew we were barely holding it together ourselves. That's why I respect men who keep going. Not because they're emotionless, but because a lot of times they're fighting battles nobody even knows exist.
Yeah. Um, it's some things that I do. I'm gonna give y'all heads up. One thing that I didn't realize I do it all the time. Um, I say things to kind of lighten the mood. And people laugh, and it makes uh it's funny. Do these people really know that, nigga? You mean all that shit you say that really ain't no joke? I ain't talking to you though. I'm just saying, blah. You've gotten used to being able to laugh on cue where you just be saying some. You really might need Yeah, we'll come back to that. What's up, Fernando? And Keish, back to what I was saying, the reason why I feel bad um, is because I have genuine people that I love that have no idea the amount of admiration I have for them. Um, and it has nothing to do with money, success, or anything. Um, my little cousin Keisha, she's not that little. Um, she's a year under me, but to me, she's my little cousin. Um, let's just say I'm gonna say one of the things that I admire her, and again, I guess you don't know until my cousin at early age, both her parents passed away. Um, I don't want to go into detail because she might not feel comfortable, but to a disease that was very prevalent in our community. And at the same time, my grandparents took her in, my aunts, my uncles, they loved her. They put their arm around her. And on me, on the inside looking out, she got all the best of she got the best of both worlds. Like, again, they love her. But as I was getting older, one of the things that I guess being mature enough or having the self-worth to understand that maybe sometimes she'll throw all that stuff away if she just had both her parents, brothers. I see, she don't know. Sometimes I have a love-hate with her because she's my little cousin, and it's really, really close. And then I had another little cousin came, and they're like really, really close. And it's no fault of anybody's, but yeah. And I've watched her bloom and got married to a wonderful man, and I watched, God put purpose, and she has a beautiful daughter, smart and vibrant. Um, but I still, again, because that's my cousin, I can still feel something's missing, and I just don't know how she does it. Um, and this is just my personal feeling. She's never said anything. I'm just speaking from the heart. Toya, uh, you too. Since the day I met you, I am in awe. Um, the level of compassion and the love that you have for your family, your grandkids, losing both of your sisters to breast cancer, and you having breast cancer yourself, and you allow me to interview you in a very intimate way, and you and your husband going through ups and downs. What you don't know is y'all are probably one of the main reasons that it makes sense to me being married. Along with not only but my parents, but my Uncle Lonnie, my dad's older brother. Just being over there to love that. And I don't mean they perfect. I mean they tell everything. and it's unapologetic, and I see that, and it's like, damn, I want that. Beyonce, unbeknownst to her though, my wife now clearly, what she doesn't understand a lot of times when you should be over there and she's listening and just talking and want her to be comfortable. I secretly was having resentment issues. Secretly, I became deathly scared. The reason why I became deathly scared, if she doesn't know, this is my second marriage. Oh, you really gonna talk about this? Oh, okay. I'm not talking to you. So, what I am deeply afraid of, and I have no control over it. She has no control over it. Is one of the things I say and I discuss, and it's not because I miss that person, I miss the marriage, but it's a thing. And in order for you to understand where you went wrong, because again, marriage is a two-way street. Now that I'm out of it and I'm healed from it, I understand that I played a part just like she played a part. It wasn't all her fault. It wasn't all my fault. But one of the things I say when people ask me about that situation is everything was good until it wasn't good anymore. Not only that it wasn't good anymore, I think for the first time I started acknowledging that that broke me, because I the way I view marriage in such a way of it is a covenant. So for better, for worse, or sickness and health, I and I guess that's why God put us in place for us to be the head and to do it, because if it's up to women, motherfuckers be married every day. Because a lot of women wear marriage, I want to get married, as kind of like a degree. I got mine, I experienced this, all right, I'm out. I never wanted that. I didn't think that's what she wanted. I can't speak for that person, but that's what it looks like. But not only that, let me tell you what really broke me. Somebody that you've given everything into. And again, marriage relationships, and you put in time, effort, their kids is your kids. Family or family. When the divorce was gone, sometimes, I said I was married, but the only way I can really feel like I've been married is the people that was there or people know. Because truth of the matter is, it's like the FBI or CIA wipe that shit off. Because it's like, I know nothing about this person and see the person, the kids, like, it's weird to me. What's up? What's up, Alan? I didn't know how to process that. And I think it magnified because of everything that's going on with me, right? So I keep telling myself there was a thing that in 2018 changed everything for me, because up until that point I was good. Was it really good though? I ain't talking to you. My grandfather passed away in June. Started having marital issues. We said we were going to sell our house. Want to make God laugh? Tell him your plans. Literally, I saved up money. We worked together, saved money to get a house. We got a house. We got married in the blink of an eye. All that could be gone. That happened. Had to transition. Not only that, let's be honest, I had to sit and be quiet. I had to sit and be quiet. One of the things that has left a lasting impression of me, and I think it's kind of spilling over into, again, my marriage is, as things was going on, I didn't pay attention to. I'm not going to say I should have paid attention to. I'm going to say that I was married to my wife. Why would I think? I feel like my wife was bringing up a RICO case against me. Just basically, and when I say RICO case, like secretly, quietly, I'm wondering why certain family members short with me, certain friends, they don't talk to me. She was given a narrative. I knew nothing. I'm being me, my regular self. Yeah, part of the problem is your arrogant ass self. So we want to come back to that. I ain't talking to you. Okay, we'll pause on that. Before I knew it, went through it, we separated, and in December, my mother passed away. Now, me dealing with the death of my mom is twofold. Me having a honest, uncomfortable conversation about it, because me and my mom was just alike, but at the same time, I was a immature kid, and I only saw things from my lenses, and I constantly got into married people's business in which I should not have. So it was always kind of found myself taking sides with my dad, which there should have been a side, and there was really nothing wrong. But understanding the whole thing, everything now, that probably hurt my mom. Even though proud of me, loving me, because me and my mom used to be super close growing up. I think, one of the things I say, I had, in the fifth grade, I had a waterbed, I had a TV, I had a Nintendo, I had everything. Yeah, we were just cool. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, pause on that. Go to the next clip.
We're going to talk about something that men will never admit. What it looks like when a man is emotionally exhausted, but still pretends that he's fine. One, he stops having preferences. He's going to say, I don't care, to basically everything. What to eat, what to do. Not because he doesn't have opinion on things, but because he's literally too tired to care. Two, he wears two faces. At home, he's quiet, he's distant, almost numb. But around people, he's cracking jokes, keeping things light, because pretending is easier than explaining. Three, he throws himself into work. It's not ambition. Don't get it confused. It's escape. He's going to drown himself in productivity because it's the only thing that he can control. 4, he downplays his pain. Ask him how he's doing, and he'll answer, I'm good. But I'm good is code for I'm barely holding it together. 5, he stops asking for help. He carries it all alone because somewhere along the road, he learned that being vulnerable makes people leave. 6, he loses interest in everything. The things that used to make him happy don't hit the same anymore. Not because he doesn't care, but because he's running on empty. And finally, he gets irritated over the smallest things. Not because he's angry, but because he's tired. Tired of feeling that he has to be okay all the time. So ladies, I need you to understand that. And men, if this sounds familiar, let me tell you something. You're not weak. You're just tired of surviving in silence. So hear me out. It's okay to rest. It's okay to ask for help. And it's okay not to be okay, even if you're the one that everybody counts on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to come back to that. I told myself as I start getting overwhelmed, I'm going to use those as buffers. Also, too, I want y'all to see this was literal me today. When I say I use music, and again, one thing about me, what I love is me. I've never wanted to be anybody else. I never want, hey, how you doing, Carla? I never wanted to be anybody else. I never wanted to, even in anything, I always was the character of me. Being that character, being me. I was comfortable. I loved who I was. Good, the bad, the ugly. What changed, dog? I'm not talking to you. So, she don't know this, y'all don't know this. This was in my head. I literally had in my head, like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I was giving you the backstory of that situation. And I said all that to say, in my head, I'm saying in my head, she's probably going to end up doing what that bitch did. So, fuck that bitch too. So, you know, again, I don't want to get cut off guard. We ain't finna talk about it. But you at the midpoint, you know, I didn't have to get married. Dog, why you keep saying that? Like, you say that like you was doing her a favor. No, I ain't saying I was doing her a favor. I explained to her the reason why I wanted to get married to her, because I felt that I wanted to show her that she deserved that. I did not want her to leave a situation and just giving somebody who didn't cherish that title and that dedication that I had for that person, and to just give her like longtime girlfriend. I didn't think that was fair. Okay, nigga, that's honorable. But I'm just saying, you could have left it like that. Why you keep why you keep saying like I ain't have to get married? Like, because if that's what it was, then it's like you trying to, like, you want her to praise you for doing something that you the one on this God tip, and she don't really understand. She's trying to walk with you. Are you gonna let me be me? I'm just saying, if you're gonna talk your shit, dog, I really want you to be honest about this whole thing, because in your mind, you'll really be feeling like you're really God's gift. And I know we used to say that. We really believe that. But I'm older. I'm not That's not what I'm saying. That's not the way I'm feeling. Yeah, you just said something to her the other day. Like, you want me to trust your words or your actions? And sometimes, nigga, your actions be you be going back like like you're a very Vietnam veteran. Sometimes when you come out your mouth, when you get frustrated, it's like you be trying to remind a bitch. And at the same time, when she do that, you told her you're not her enemy. Leader. I ain't really talking to you though. So I'm gonna show y'all in my head, and this is funny because this was my theme song after a breakup. You would have never thought this, but I ain't never would tell anybody this would be because my niggas would laugh my ass off. But it makes sense when you hear it, and I'm gonna show you in my head and what I was doing, why I was baiting myself up to try to redirect because I felt like, okay, it's just inevitable now.
Losing your mom, that's a pain you never get over. It's like a hole in your soul that nothing can fill.
I'm sorry, she missed the cue. I'm finna play the song, and then I'm gonna get back to that because I'm segueing to some, but I want y'all to hear how ridiculous I was today in my head. So, bitch ain't gonna get me like that again. But this was the song. Because I couldn't sing, and I just thought these people here was like perfect for my lip singing. Mm-hmm.
You said you didn't need her. You told her you sacrificed for good love to satisfy you. Now you wish that you should have her.
Nah, coming back. Thank you.
You feel like such a fool. You let her walk away. Now we just don't feel
Man, hold on.
the pain. Gotta blame it on something.
Blame it on something.
On the rain, the fall, the falling. Blame it on the storm. They shine down nights. Whatever you do, don't put nothing on you. Yeah. Blame it on the rain. Should have told her you were sorry. Could have said you were wrong. But no, you couldn't do that. No. Had to prove you were strong. You hadn't been blind then. She might still be there with you. You want her back again. But she just don't feel the same. Gotta blame it
You did.
on something.
Man, you did.
Blame it on the rain that was falling.
Anytime. So, I'm sorry if y'all couldn't hear it, but it basically was Milli Vanilli, Blame It on the Rain. That was my theme song. Um, coincidentally, we know Milli Vanilli got found out that they were lip syncing and they was a fraud. They was being fraud. I didn't know that then, but it's kind of funny how things come full circle because in that moment, I was being a fraud. You do be making some good points, player. Carry on though. Um, that's how I felt. Um, and I was in my head trying to, again, I need y'all ladies to understand, not just ladies, I say this all the time. One of the things that I love about myself is uh, nobody can make me feel no worse or say anything worse or bad that I ain't already said about that to myself. Um, this is literally crazy conversations that men have. And not only those conversations, it's conversations about saying what I got to do next, what I got to fix next. And this didn't work, you failed. When when you know women have mishaps and things go wrong, you got community, you got friends, you got family. They put their arms around you and say, "Hey, it's cool. I got you. Like, we're gonna get through this." When we as men make mishaps or mistakes, it's side eye. You should have knew better. I don't know what you want me to do about it. You just on the island. And that's reality. And and to a certain extent, it's okay. But part of that is me going through the journey trying to figure out what's going on with me. Because she did have a point. Like, one of the things, we're having a conversation. She says, your grandma, I know it's kind of hard, seeing grandma not looking how she did when you were growing up because she felt ill. And it might be scared of come to terms of inevitability of all of us. And I told her, yeah, that's part of it. But it's not just that. Part of the reason why me feeling alone and I feel by myself is, again, if y'all heard me a little bit earlier in the conversation, I said, growing up, I had a great childhood. I didn't have a I didn't have a brother, but I did have a brother. My cousin Patrick, he literally was my brother. We grew up together because that's how my parents raised us. Like, all my friends now, they know I used to be away from college. I had friends be spending the night at my house. They staying there if they got kicked out. My parents gave a culture of what I deemed in my head was this is how family is. Um, I used to be close with all my cousins. on my big cousins, my girl cousins. Um, Partly because I make a joke. I was a kind of latchkey kid. I literally being uncomfortable was normal to me because I stayed at all my aunt's house at one point in time or another because my parents was working a lot. So yeah, I was kind of close to all my aunts and my uncles and yeah. Um, I'm hurt because part of the reason my wife said to me about my grandmother, you know, um, is because the house that it's my grandmother's house, my grandparents' house. I grew up in that house just like I grew up in my own house. And again, not thinking anybody owes you anything or anything, but what hurt was the reality that my awareness that I believed what was a culture that I grew up in was just a culture at my parents' house. Worse than that, I grew up in a culture in which not just my parents, they could get on your ass, my uncles, my aunts could get on their ass. And at the same time, my uncle used to come get me, hang out. We stayed in Miami in the summers, come back to Broward. Like, yeah. But for whatever reason, it looks like some kind of distinction. And it was very weird and puzzling to me um, for somebody you grew up under. Not only that, in the house that you grew up in, just like any other, like your other house, you when you go, you're being met at the door like, what's up? Like, why you here? Again, probably if I wasn't going through the things that I was going through, maybe it would bother me less. But again, my understanding and the culture of what I grew up with, it's like the veil had came off. And this is like the truth of the matter is what hurts. It's like, nigga, they don't really fuck with you like that, dog. Not only that, again, my parents, my dad, safe space for everybody. I had to apologize and give grace because my dad was doing the best he can. And I was angry at him because I was feeling like that he was allowing my siblings to take advantage of him. And he didn't fight. And I'm his only son, so I felt that I needed to fight. And me fighting and putting money and fighting and putting money to make sure you good because the only thing I wanted for you is to live your best life. I ain't want shit from you, dog. And the people that was taking advantage of you, you know they was taking advantage of you. You looked me square in my face and said, if me still taking care of grown people, and that's what I need to do for my kids, and I end up being on the street, what does that matter to you? Why did that shit bother you so much though, dog? Like for real. It bothered me because nigga, that's my dad. Not only I was going through that the still with the ex-wife and the thoughts and whatever people was thinking. Now I'm sitting here listening, looking at people asking me, like, yo, like, what's up with your dad? And partly it bothers me because that's my dad. But also too, I'm like, you see what the fuck going on? Why you need helping? Because my dad fucking always helped all y'all. Sometimes to a fucking fault, and that pissed me off. It's your dad though, bro. You keep saying you don't want to control shit, but keep going back to the control shit. I ain't talking to you. So you sell the house that you grew up in, the house that you like. You want to know why I feel like I'm literally by myself is because everything that I knew that was me, everything about me, I'm literally in real time watching it either die, get lost, get destroyed, or simply walk away. One of my mental safe havens is tell my wife was comic books, big superhero fan. I could put myself in any of the characters, but at that time, it felt like I was living in a multiverse. So, going through all that, 2018 and 19, it started COVID, 22, 23. It literally was a blur. Um, God has made some very intricate things for us as human beings to deal with trauma. Because truly, that time period was a blur. Nigga, you was in these streets. Listen, one thing for certain, two things for sure. We are all creatures of habit. And when worst come to worst and things not going right, we're gonna always do what makes us comfortable, what worked for us. Mine was women. That's why I get sometimes my wife when she looks at me and she says, you know, you say one thing, you're kind of I think I thread the needle sometimes because when I say I could do that with my eyes closed, listen, I sell a bitch a snow cabin in Arizona for the highest price, and you'll buy it and love it. There go that nigga right there. I knew he was coming. I'm talking to you. I was just explaining things that at the time that I can do. Yeah, but you know what though? What's funny? You was doing your thing, but you became vulnerable because you thought them bitches loved you. It's not true. Nigga, yes you did. I did say at one point you was winning. I didn't look at it like that. I looked at we were at the time I provided company, the girls that I dated, they're like friends, family. Um, that's something that, I feel like I personally cultivated. Go ahead, say that last line, B. Ain't no last line because what you're not gonna do, you're not gonna try to trigger me into saying some shit that's not true. Hey, I've been here with you. I was there. All I'm saying is, go ahead, I'm waiting. Ain't no waiting. They can't, whatever happened, what they can't say is, can't say you ain't have fun. Disney World, remember? That is true. What are you talking? I'm not talking to you. Could that have been part of the problem? How was that part of the problem, nigga? I've been doing that all my life. Let's go back to that. So, leading into that, family, um, got a little girl. Yeah, like I can. One thing I can say, I can personally say that most of the time, my kids, I have been hands on. Even the kids that I didn't birth, always been hands on. I was there from the time that she was born, time that like I was there. We're gonna talk about this dog. I need you to let's be completely transparent. Yeah, you was there, but you really wasn't there because who had your baby? No, I think I was there, but my mom and dad, yeah, that was their baby. Like that was their baby. That still didn't. That still didn't. Hey, you also want to talk about how you get your best friend sister pregnant? Yeah, that's kind of foul. Really wasn't like that, and I'm not gonna go into that like she was a young girl and I took advantage of her. Yeah, but you are all about all these integrities and principles uh, that was kind of fun. But it's like I'm the one taking advantage. Like she played a part too. Yeah, but remember earlier you kind of committed in saying I'm the nigga that could sell uh, ice village to a bitch in Arizona. Kind of had inside scoop. So I supposed to be responsible. for her feelings. It happened. We had a kid. Um, let's go a little deeper. Maybe we have to understand that every action has consequences, bad or good. Ain't that the shit you be telling the kids? Touche. But can I continue? I ain't really talking to you. Um, having daughters is different. It's a feeling. It's a different feeling. Like my son, like my firstborn son, Kobe, like I was there from the beginning to the end, like, good, bad, ugly, he's seen it all. Yeah, you kind of brag on that a lot. Like, is that you feeling like that's kind of like a win? Well, not really a win, but a broke clock do get it right twice out of a day. Yeah, having a daughter is different. Um, in that moment that I again started, and again to be clear, be transparent. Yeah, I've been there, but I really wasn't there because yeah, my parents they did kind of, I ain't gonna say kidnapped her, they just kind of took over. It's still not really an excuse, but they did. They took over. That was their child. Um, and one day I was like, "Hey, I'm taking her," and my mom was kind of like, "Taking her where?" I kind of still laugh at that day because it was kind of like you questioning me like I got to give you permission to take my son, but she was like, "Yeah, well, like I don't know where you're going. Who you gonna be around? You can do that with Coach. You can't do that with her." And I was like, "Look, I'm not going back and forth with you about that." She was like, "Absolutely right." We were like, "Renee, come on, try this again tomorrow." Listen, I got pissed off. Why though? Because that's my daughter. Like, it doesn't matter about what you think and how you feel, and you do all the stuff you do it, and I appreciate it, but that's still my daughter. Yeah, but they had a whole lot more invested. And not saying that you didn't pimp, but you still was out in them streets a little bit. You just said you got to be different from a daughter. Touche. But that was a time when she saw me, her eyes lit up. We talk about silly stuff. Um, just that. Um, it's different the way a little girl looks at their dad. It's a feeling that yeah. Funny story. I remember. I think she started preschool, and I went to go pick her up one day, and this, I guess, little boy, I'm going to say he had a crush on her, but he used to call her Brownie. And she came to me one day and she was like, "Daddy, it's this boy. He's not calling my name correctly. He keeps calling me Brownie." Um, and I said, "Okay, baby, well, did you tell the teacher?" She was like, "Yes," and she's not doing anything. I need you to come out there and say something because I said, my daddy's really big. I really found that funny. But not only did I find that funny, my daughter has the same attitude as me. So when I said, "Renee, I'm going to fix it," she was like, "No, I need you to handle it. I need you to handle it now." Dead serious. And like me, when she gets her mind fixed on something, it's almost impossible to change her mind. Hence where I'm at right now. Um, my part. Again, going back to that time in my life that I was mentally checked out and trying to, cope with life, I didn't feel it was deemed appropriate for me to start getting my daughter all the time. And every time I got around her, all I was doing was crying and I was breaking down, and I just didn't think it was fair to her. So sometimes I wouldn't come. Sometimes I would say I'm coming and making excuses, but little did I know that I didn't understand the repercussions that it took, because in her small, naive, innocent mind, she thought her daddy didn't love her anymore. And even though I'm, still upset because the part that her mother played in, that part is me. I created the atmosphere for the narrative and allowed her to lead into her own understanding, because that's how she personally felt. And when I was ready to come back, like me, her mind was made up. And like me, when you hurt, you don't want to go back down there. But also, it hurt me because the woman that at the end of the day, we didn't work out or what have you, didn't do anything bad, it just didn't work out. We still was family. Yeah. But again, you don't control how people react. Still to the control thing. I ain't talking to you though. In the same length, one of my best friends, we became distant, and I'm not mad at him. I purely understand. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place. And how she wanted to move and talking to me. Because no matter how right I am, I gotta understand and respect the fact that I still his sister. I do appreciate him still telling me, keep doing what you're doing. You don't think I got you. I got you. I appreciate that. Next video, please.
Losing your mom, that's a pain you never get over. It's like a hole in your soul that nothing can fill. People think time heals everything, but it doesn't. Time just teaches you how to carry the weight. One day you're fine, the next, it hits you. Like it happened all over again. You find yourself waiting on that call or text that you know is never coming. And that's when you realize she's gone for real. You're not the same, and some people will never understand that. Grief isn't something you move on from. It's something that you learn to live with. And that's okay.
Listen. I keep hearing this phrase all the time. My mom, one day we was arguing, and she said to me, one day you're gonna see. You think I'm always arguing with you or doing stuff for because of this or that, or I just don't want you to be happy, because we start having some disagreements. Because for me, I didn't feel like I did anything wrong to be warned to everything, that if I made a mistake, there was a consequence after everything. And here I had my sister is 15 years old, having a kid early, 2 kids early. You take their kids in, you take care of them. But everything with me, high school, college, even when I had a kid at 25, you still made me be responsible. I didn't understand that. And she said, because you love your kids the same, but you handle each one differently because everybody does not have the same capacity and you don't get it right now, but you will. And I see that now. It's funny. I don't know if anybody y'all have siblings that you grow up in. Some people ask me, my sister, somebody was like, "That's your sister?" I was like, "Yeah." They was like, "Y'all grew up like you grew up in this," and it's like you literally can grow up in the same household, same everything, and they come out totally different from you, and it looks nothing like how y'all grew up. And I'm not trying to put any shade on my sister. Um, I'm learning myself to give grace because she has her own demons and own, things that she's probably dealing with herself. Um, and it just sometimes I used to get so upset and angry at her, and it's almost like I was judging. And for that, I apologize. Um, One day, eventually, I hope, my dad wants and my grandmothers don't want it. I love my sister. I love my little sister. I was there when she first walked. I used to have to take up for her because she had a big. Somewhere down the line, I don't know, something happened and it became different. Her kids, my nephews, I raised them. Before I had a son, I raised them. No different from my cousin Dave, his son DJ, raised them. And again, it's a culture that I adopted that I believe because that's how I was raised. Okay, but let's really talk about like how did we get here? How did we get to everything that you're at right now? Um, we know about 2018, we know about uh the divorce, we know about um, trying to get things together. We know about all of that, like, but nigga, what's really bothering you? I, I keep so here's the thing. Again, me having this conversation with myself, and even right now talking to y'all and me praying, um, and I'm feeling alone, and I'm asking myself, when did this start? Because I used the word abandonment, and I felt like at the time my mother abandoned me. But let's talk about it. Like, what really happened and triggered that changed you that your behaviors was altered to good, bad, or indifferent, the consequences happen. And I kept thinking about it, kept thinking about it, kept thinking about it. Um, One of the things, again, God put people in your path, and you don't know. I had him on my show, Fernando. He has a book. We talked about his book. Also, to another shout out to Fernando. He's another one person that um, I find absolutely I am a fan of, just as a man, as a brother, as just going through the things that he went through, and still trying to be the good steward and being able to say, hey, this is what I want to do. Let me help the youth. and he's standing on that. But we were having a conversation, and he was saying about with him dealing with the book. Some of his family members didn't like it because we're old school. Our family be like, okay, but just some stuff don't talk about because that's embarrassing to the family. And we both was on agreement where, yeah, but where does the cycle cut? Like, you got to be able to, in order for you to talk about stuff and things change, you have to have honest conversation. And with our honest conversation came about a conversation, something that happened to me. I've told a story before, but in the midst of me and him talking, I really told a story, and I recently told a story again. Me and Etta, we talked about it, and again, God put things in our head for trauma to purposely to save our mental. Sometimes we ask ourselves, a young girl is being raped, and after she's being raped, like, how is it she's able to function and go on in life? Being raped, or men being raped, how can they come out and just, like, you think that what they do is just forget about it or they move on? You don't. What happens is your brain processes it and it protects you. It protects the most traumatic experience that it knows that will happen to you, so you don't break. And I think, coming in full circle, me. So again, one of the things as we're getting older and we watch shows and stuff. I can't say the lady name, Ivana, whatever, but when she says we have to learn to call a thing a thing. So I lightly talked about an interaction that I had when I was in the seventh grade. It was a man that I was, we deemed like a community in my neighborhood. And I keep saying he didn't molest me, or he did. I don't know if it's me trying to separate the two because I don't want to look like a victim, or I don't want to feel crazy. Um, but in me telling him the story, it was so deep because as I was telling the story, I remember going back, asking myself, because part of the thing as a young man, dealing with something like that, I was angry at myself. I was angry at myself because, first and foremost, in my mind, I'm in the seventh grade. And again, we as Black kids, we were taught to be self aware. You know, we just felt it. And then, too, as a Black kid, you think you're cooler than you are. So it's a lot of things you put in your head that, oh, that should have never happened to me, until it happens to you. So briefly, I'm going to discuss a situation where um, a guy was a predator. It wasn't no fault of mine. It wasn't no fault of my parents. I grew up in a pretty much at the time, Lottie Hill, Shallow Side was a very good middle class neighborhood. I knew all my neighbors, grew up with everybody. Everybody was cool. Um, and the family around the corner, not to mention was there, they were there, as me growing up because they had kids, but also at the same time, my parents were Jehovah's Witness and they were Jehovah's Witness. So at the time, I was coming up an age where I played basketball really, really good. And my dad used to work a lot. So one day he came around and asked my parents, could, when he got off, come get me. It was during the summer. And, keep my basketball skills and just be a mentor. My dad them thought it was great because again, as a witness, brother, pastor, whatever, felt comfortable. I did too. Side note, I'm going to say parents, and I still do this now, God gave us intuition for a reason. Please listen to it because the more you don't listen to your intuition, the lesser you won't see things coming. So by the time it's summertime, he would come get me, take a walk from where I lived at to Castle Hill Elementary. We'll go play basketball. But that day, um, it was strange. I woke up that morning, I felt off. Don't know, but I felt off, ears ringing. I just didn't feel like myself. But again, he came, knocked on the door, put on my shoes, and the second warning sign was, for whatever reason, I've never felt like this around this man. As soon as I opened the door, I make a joke, but this is exactly how I felt. It felt like stranger danger. Stranger danger, stranger danger. And I don't know, for some reason at that moment, I never paid attention to his smile, but I paid attention to his smile. And it just felt weird to me. For a grown man to be looking at a young teenage boy and smiling at me the way he did. My dad. He was a kid, dog. You didn't know nobody. Don't do this. Gotcha. Took our walk. That passed shortly. We took our walk. Nothing was off. Everything was cool. To my house, to Castle Hill, at the time, it was maybe 10 minutes. I'm trying to paint y'all a picture. Castle Hill Elementary. At the time, they had portables. And between portables, you could grass, and then there was a black blacktop. And it was like, as soon as we went through the gate and I stepped on the grass, for whatever reason, I don't know what happened, but it felt like, you ready? Here it go. And he said, hey, you started liking girls yet? Now, to a normal person, that might have seemed very simple. And for the most part, it was, but not to him because he never talked to me that way. He was in the Jehovah's Witness. We didn't even talk about stuff like that. So it's kind of off. And I kind of was like, yeah. And he kind of laughed, like, what you know about girls? Now at the time, side note, I'll talk about that another story. I had sex already. I had sex. The first time I had sex was in the 5th grade. Don't judge me. That's a whole nother topic within itself. But moving forward, of course, I didn't tell him that. He asked me, did I have sex? I said, no. We kind of was laughing, and I'm still walking. So I had the ball in my right hand, and me and him talking. He's right on the side of me. He's kind of tall, a big man, and we're walking. And one of the things I got mad at myself is I think he purposely kept rambling because I was just in the moment. And because before I know it, we walked right off the blacktop, going towards just walking in between portables. And he turns to me and said, you think about having sex? And I said, no, not really. And then he says, as we're talking, you probably ain't even got no hair on your nuts. And I paused and I was like, that's kind of inappropriate. I said it to myself, but again, being a young man, I was polite and I said, I really don't feel comfortable talking about this. And like a predator would, he kind of laughed it off and said, boy, calm down. You ain't gay, is you? And I'm like, no. Again, going to my masculine, because that's what they would do. I'm like, no. He was like, I ain't think so. So what's, And I said, well, no, So he says, well, listen, the first time if you start wanting to have sex, let me know. I want to be able to talk to you. And I know you got your dad, but sometimes you really don't, you might not feel comfortable. And Now that I think about it, and I was telling Fernando, the way his verbiage and the way he talked, it's almost kind of like code switching. I didn't know that then, but the man that I knew, the way he talked, in which he switched up and was talking to me, almost kind of like he was trying to be on my level. Even my dad was kind of like the same age, but now he was like using words like, I want to be kind of like a big brother. I want to, be there. If you want to talk about things, anything, just let me know. I'm give you my phone number, call me. I was like, yeah, nigga ain't call. It's just weird. But again, I ain't judging. Um, and before I know it, I stopped and I'm in between two portables. And he was like, yeah, I just want to let you know. And I was like, we don't walk too far. We passed the basketball court. And he was like, yeah, we're going to get to it. He said, but listen, I want you to know that I want us to be close. And in order for us to be close, I want to be able to trust you and you trust me. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I got you. And he said, but in order, for us to trust, I want you to know that I got the same things you got. And I'm laughing like, yeah. Again, I think kind of why I started using jokes when I'm in uncomfortable situations, because that was the first time I was like, yeah, we laugh. And he was like, no. He was like, let me see. And I was like, man, stop playing. At that point, it was like myself, like HB, like, nigga, you going way too far. Like, I know you playing, but if this a game, I ain't playing that shit for real. And you good, dog. We did this already. Let's go. I was put in a situation. I want to say, I don't know how women go through things being a lesser sex, how scary it is for a woman to be being physically taken over. That's something not too many men can honestly know how that feels, for somebody to physically take over you and there's nothing you can do. And I'm not saying that's what he did to me, but what I'm saying is he literally grabbed my right arm. And for the first time in my life as a teenage boy, I felt helpless and there was nothing I could do. Because I tried to snatch away 3 times and he literally looked at me and laughed. And he was like, boy, what are you trying to do? Boy, if I want to, I could break your arm. That was the first time in my life I've ever felt scared. Like there was nothing I can do. And at the same time, that me being scared, being a masculine young man, I didn't want to scream. I didn't want to yell. I didn't want to cry because I didn't want to look like no punk. In which if it was a girl, she would probably yell, scream, cry, did something. And I still was trying to hold it in because I didn't want to look soft. So I keep going back to this place because I still had this ball in my hand, and I don't know why I ain't let the ball. The basketball was a safe place for me. I don't know. I can't, but I still had the ball in my hand, and he's holding them. And at this point, I kind of relaxed, and he said, "I ain't trying to do nothing, man. I just want to show you that me and you have the same thing." And I said, "Okay, I believe you." And he still has my hand on one end, and he did the most disgustingness a grown man could do in front of anybody. He pulled his penis out. Now, again, this is all my memory is. So I don't know if he pulled all the way out, but I just know that he did, and I when he did that, I looked away and I held the ball and I'm looking this way. And he asked me, like, you say you ain't gay? I'm just showing you that I ain't gay either. He was like, now you pull yours out. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. And he was like, I just want you to know. And I said, I get it, but I'm not doing that. For me, that was a hard no. So he says, okay. Now, went to a therapist and I was going through this thing, going back to what I told y'all was a thing that our brain protects. So every day we would talk about that particular situation, that moment. And they asked me, like, okay, that happened. Then what happened? I said, he asked me to touch him. And I was like, I don't mean touch him like grab it. He said, touch. I said, yeah. He said, what happened? I said, nothing. I just told him I ain't doing it. And every day the therapist kept asking me over and over again what happened until one day, and again, I'm talking to Fernando, I don't know what happened. I felt like a video game had unlocked something. And that's me talking. I didn't think about it. I was just talking. I was like, same thing with what happened. And I said, I don't know. He asked me to touch it, and I told him I didn't want to touch it. And we kept going back and forth. And then I just finally said, here. And I remember doing that, like that. And I put my hand back, and he made a sound. And I remember the sound because I got loose. He let my hand go because I'm going to take it, or with the understanding that y'all kind of get the picture, but I just remember running home. I ran home. I ran straight home, ran and went in the room. And it's moments at a time where I miss my mom because there's moments that me and her had that at that time, that was our thing. And when I say that was a bond that she had my back, is because I went in the house and I went straight to my bathroom. And I just remember putting bleach and soap on my hands, and I'm just washing my hands over and over again. And I don't know how long I was in there, but my mom, like old school, like she just hear water running and she opened the door and she was like, why the hell you got like you putting water everywhere? Because I literally was just washing. And she was like, you putting water everywhere and you got the water running. And I turned to her and I said, why in the hell you fucking with me? Can you close the door? Now, maybe in this time, I don't know what kids do, but people would think I had got the devil in me or something because I never told my mom. My mom would have killed me. Even at that point, she knew something wrong because she didn't even respond how she would have responded. She just politely closed the door and walked away. I opened the door and I went in a room and I just remember laying down and putting my hand over my head and I'm just laying there. And I remember, I don't know how long, but it was shortly after that, the doorbell rang and it was him. And he asked, like, hey, I mean, just check in if Harold if he all right. And I don't know, mother's intuition had to be. And she said, yeah, he's good. He said, yeah, he ran off so fast. Again, a predator. I ain't get to say, we ain't play that long, but I'm just checking if he was all right. My mom said, yeah, he all right. He was like, well, can you ask him, do he want me same time tomorrow? And this is how I knew my mom knew. She says, yeah, I don't know if he told you, but his dad said he's going to start back playing basketball with him again. So thank you, but you don't have to worry about that, okay, Al? He was like, okay, sure, no problem. Had a knock on the door. My mom walked in the room. And she put her finger up. And she pat my foot and told me to lay back down. And she says, baby, I'm going to say something to you. And I want you to know that whatever decision you make, I'm going to go with it, okay? And I kind of nodded my head, yes. And she says, listen, I don't know what happened. I don't know if anything happened, but I know my child. And I want you to know if something happened and you're hurt or you feel any kind of way, when your dad come home, we can sit down and we can tell him. And then she put her hand on my foot and she says, but I need you to listen to me. She says, we can definitely tell your dad, and I'm with you, whatever happens after that. Mommy got you. I love you. But I want you to know, if we tell your dad, I know for a fact things will change, because you don't know the things that your dad had endured. This will completely take him over the edge. And I'm not saying not to say anything or you need to protect him, but I'm telling you things will change. But I'm okay. She says, but also, what I will do, if we don't, we can do whatever we need to do to get this rectified. And I promise you, you'll never have to cross paths with that man again. You tell me you put up a finger, 1 or 2. I put up 2. Now, saying all that to say, I don't know if I wasn't really thinking about my dad, if I have to be honest. I was still trying to process being 12 years old. How did I allow myself to get put in that position? Dog, you was 12 years old. I know, but I thought I knew better. And these are the things that we as young men, we deal with internally, that we think, because my head was going so far, like, why would you allow him to put you in that position? Like, did you actually touched him? Like, do you like dudes? Is you gay? Like, nigga, what's going on? I was open to all of these things that I would have never had in my mindset, period. But it happened. So moving along over the years, and again, I know for a fact I don't like guys, I ain't gay, I know, like, but it really pushed me to being very promiscuous. And when I say promiscuous, meaning that I ain't had, like, that little pussy was wet, I was going to get it off. It became a thing, sports sex, because this was my way of proving I ain't like that. We're gonna have to come back to that, because as time go on, later on, again, I got married, and at the time, the woman that I married hit me up and say, "Hey, Facebook, I met this girl I went to school with. You know, she's going through. She's an attorney, and she says she knows you." And I'm like, being arrogant, like, yeah, everybody knows me. She was like, no, like, she all grew up, like, not grew up together. You're older than her, but she says she knows you. She's like, her dad used to follow you, you know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she said her name, and it felt like somebody punched me in my stomach. I ran to the bathroom and I almost threw up. And she says, "Are you okay?" And the only thing I can get out was, "That's him," because I told her. She immediately felt, again, she didn't know how to take it, because even though the girl didn't do anything, but it's kind of like, damn, like, God forbid, they never got, hung out, but something interesting did happen. And I think that this is the whole point of me telling the story, is what bothers me. A year or two later, I go to my parents' house just to check on them. And we're sitting down, me, my ex-wife, my mom, my dad, and my dad being himself, talking like he usually does. And he says, "Hey, brother such and such just got this fellowship and he got arrested. And they were telling me he found out that 2 boys he had molested for years. And they asked me, like, did I see that, him living around the house? And I mean, him living around the corner. And also, too, knowing that, at one point he used to, interact with you. And I said to them, like, no, that would never happen to my son. Like, my son would have told me. My mom looked at me, my ex-wife looked at me, they looked at each other. Now, of course, my dad didn't know anything because if anybody know my dad, that's my dad. So it was kind of funny, but the big thing was I felt responsible because if I would have said something back then, but then at the same time, I don't know. So having an uncomfortable conversation, me dealing with loss, me trying to process, me trying to not be perfect, but evolve, being better than I was last year, being better than I was yesterday. Um, I've been self-medicating, you know. Again, one of the things, again, in my marriage is having issues. I'm like, I want to have sex. Like, why the hell you having sex? Like, the fuck wrong with you? Like, you have sex all the time. And, oh, let's really talk about it. It ain't really the sex, dog. No one needs the sex. I feel like she rejected me. Can't be like you be under the influence and she don't like the way you be acting when you're under the influence, dog. And plus, you doing all that shit starting to mess with your dick. I ain't really talking to you, but that ain't really the problem. Say you want to resolve a lot of things, but you got to also you hold yourself accountable. No, it ain't that. Like, nigga, I used to have sex with 3 and 4 girls one day, nigga. That ain't the problem. Like, yeah, but that ain't this. You ain't doing that no more because I feel like she doesn't want me. I just told you maybe because you're influenced and you're medicating yourself, could and then man, listen, I got references, nigga. Ain't nothing like that's one thing I could say. And at the same time, if I'm that person that I normally be, she can't have it both ways. You can still be that person. You have to kind of let go of that other person. And an ugly dude. Like getting pussy ain't never been the issue. Yeah, but that ain't what we're talking about. You feeling rejected. You're getting to a season that you're dealing with things that you never had to deal with that came easy to you. Maybe that could be the problem. Actually, I feel like I've sacrificed so much and I've done the work and I literally gave her everything that I felt that she wanted from me. And she ain't holding up to her end of the bargain. How about you lead, leader? I can't lead shit if she ain't following. Get a safe space. You gotta start with you. You just said I keep having the same conversations and she's very dismissive. She ain't listening. She's like, she was never like none of this. Before we got married, I felt like I'm tricked. Have you ever asked her? about the things that maybe she felt like you promised her before y'all got married? No, because I did. It, like the girls, the women, like I focused on us, and you ain't ready to talk about it. I'm still holding on to that. Um, I'm able to go through all of this. Is one thing that I told her a while back is the only thing that keeps me grounded, right, wrong, or is indifferent is my true faith in God. And I'm not, that doesn't make me an angel. That does not make me um, be a saint or a pastor. But when I say that's the only thing that I can stand on is my belief that through God, all things are possible. And I have genuinely watched that happen. But at the same time, we as people have to do the work. And yeah, it's scary. Being grown is ghetto. One of my really good friends, my brother, still processing that. Him committing suicide and me talking to him for hours over the phone and realizing that there was nothing I can do because the outcome would have been the same. Maybe that's the reason why you feel like right now you're trying to keep score because you've been taking a whole lot losses than wins. No, I don't view it like that. Maybe you should, because that's why it hurts so bad. So before I go to my outro, I appreciate y'all being here. Hey, what's up, dog? I didn't know I was gonna be here this long. I really didn't know what I was gonna. I love you too. I didn't know. I knew what I was gonna talk about, but I didn't know what the direction I was gonna go in. And one thing that I kept telling myself, I want to be able to have the courage to be able to talk about these things. And if I have a platform, I feel like it's my responsibility to, again, I understand I'm on social media, and I'm understanding that some of the stuff I talk about, everybody ain't gonna look at it the way I look at it. Some people might have some negative things to say. Some people might have great things to say, and I'm okay. That's one thing I can say. I'm okay with it all because it's my truth. It's my perspective. And I know I'm not the only one. So I hope that I can be able to help a young brother. I hope I be able to spark conversation with sometimes me and my friends that we would have never talked about, because us men, we deal with shit every day. And sometimes we don't even be one to talk about it. Half the time, my friends say, dog, you can call me. But when we as men, by the time we go through all this process, when we do decide to call, it's kind of like, I already know you got your shit going on. It's like, I'm good. Hey, Miss Parker. Thank you, Toya. I love you. Hey, Toya, Isaac. Before I do my outro, I'm gonna play my last clip. And for you, I watched. It might make a little sense to y'all. It did to me when I watched it. It is.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. The devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Man, he's my favorite. Don't bother him.
Yeah.
Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this before I end it. Um, it's a journey. This is a process. Um, like any other. Thank you, Chef. Um, I'm gonna get it right sometimes. Sometimes I'm not. Something I'm kind of learning to deal with, and it's okay. Thank you, Tar. Um, because I ain't perfect. Um, what all I really want is to be a good man in my community. Um, I'm blessed, like many of us, to have, growing up in a Black community school of the Otis Grays, the uh, um, Coach Ingrams, the Burrows, the, Penders, even coaches from other schools, teachers have impacted. Um, I feel like it's my responsibility to kind of continue on that. My wife, she does with the cheer team, very proud of her. Um, just trying to not be nothing other than a good servant. Um, just be a good servant, and in the community, and understand that even in our living, we have certain superheroes. We all fall because we're human. Um, One of the things I've seen that um, I have real empathy for. I can't. Pretty sure it. Um, the What's the guy that ran for governor at the time? Huh? Yeah, Andrew Gillum. Um, fell to his own addictions. Um, And again, to us and well, not really to us, in the political crowd, and into on the other spaces and places, people probably felt like he let them down because again, he was like he was there. But people don't understand what demons people deal with. Um, Again, I don't know the man, never met the man. I'm just using him as a reference because I truly believe throughout everything he really has good intentions, and I think he's still going to be able to um, do good. I just want us in our community, our people, to allow people grace um, because it's okay. Um, Not even drugs, the rumors of his sexuality and all this other stuff. Um, just allow people to grace because we already know on the other side, other people they do things and they either shut it down, close it off, or don't talk about it, or minimize it. We hold each other to that's just us thing where we make a mistake and we demonize ourselves and our people, and it puts us in a place where we lost that comfort in our community where we can chastise somebody's child. But now people don't want nobody chastising their child because they don't look at it as you chastising their child. They look at it as what you're doing. You're chastising me as a parent. Now that's a twofold because they also too got to take responsibility and understand that if I'm saying something to your kid, I'm saying something to your kid because I see something in your kid that I think that they can be great. But also too, we as people, we live in a day that we get so defensive that anytime somebody says something to us, we feel like it's a and we got to do better. Hey, Trinisia, my cousin, little sister, my little cousin, little sister. Thank y'all for tuning in with me, man. This is exhausting. But literally, this is, as a man, the things that we deal with, we fight battles with, we talk to ourselves. So by the time we come in there to y'all and y'all ask what's wrong, and we give y'all nothing, it's because we don't went through all the scenarios. We don't went through all the scenarios. And it hurts. And lastly, I want to leave because I was doing a lip singing thing, and my last one, I want to leave. Is being a kid, I'm being goofy. Excuse me. This is uh-oh. I didn't know that. Hold on. I want to my wife. If I was lip singing, because again, I still think I'm cool, right? And this was like a real time at the time. You know, this when I'm in my room and I'm going over perfect tape, and you be like, baby, it was uncool to love me. Leave me standing in that without a goodbye. And maybe I am the fool you call me. 'Cause I'll be standing waiting to hear you say to me, I'm ready to love you forever. To love now, gonna love me forever. I'm ready to love you. Yeah, that's all I got for you. It's funny, when I first told her I wanted to do it, I kind of had to laugh at myself, because when I said it, she was asking me questions and I was getting frustrated. But I laughed. I was like, I hope this motherfucker don't think like I'm finna kill myself or some shit, and this finna be my my last homage. Like, we ain't doing that. But yeah, I didn't want to talk about it. I just wanted to do it. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Hope to see y'all next time. Next time, me and Burke, we're gonna have ours. It's gonna be real light. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. I need to rest. Peace out.
You mean to the people around you. You don't know how many times a smile got somebody through. You keep on giving your heart even when they doubt you. And one day you'll see yourself the way that I do. You don't know how strong you've been this whole time. You don't know how bright you shine when you don't even try. Life gets heavy, but somehow you still rise. Just keep being yourself, that's your greatest light. You've been through things that you don't really